everybody? It's your favorite psychic medium, me, Alicia. Just kidding. What's up, everybody? Okay, I know it's kind of an odd day. Honestly, I don't even know what day it is or what time it is or where I'm going. This is Moon. So yeah, I guess it's Monday, and this is my live from Friday. I got stuck on a plane and I got really long delays. Excuse me, but it was literally in the universe. So going into it, I knew that there was going to be long delays on the plane. So um, then I rescheduled for maybe yesterday, but I was absolutely exhausted. So here we are on Monday. So I'm sorry that I have delayed it a little bit further than normal. But here we are. So today I want to talk about blessings because blessings, including this cat. I want to talk about blessings because I think that sometimes we forget that there's blessings that are coming past us every single day. Everything is a sign and symbol. Everything really is a true blessing. So that's what I kind of want to talk about today. And I want to talk about actually my trip too. Aaron and I just went to Puerto Rico, and it was the most magical, amazing, beautiful, spiritual, crazy thing ever. And, you know, as soon as we got there, we got to Old San Juan. And Old San Juan is like really old, hence Old San Juan, right? So a lot of shit went down there. Wars, just so much stuff, right? The streets are still original, they're beautiful. So we have an Airbnb and we go in, and immediately I start seeing like some weird shit. Like there's crosses everywhere. And I'm like, okay, cool. So there's crosses everywhere, but then it starts to get like intense. Like there's crosses everywhere. And then I go into the bedroom that I'm going to be staying in, and there's like these masks with like these horns coming out, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. And so there's like a mask, and then I look on the table of the room I'm staying in, and there's an occult book, and I'm like, okay, so what's going on in this space, right? So okay, so we're in the space and there's like energy happening all around us. And Erin also is kind of picking up on the energy. She doesn't have the gift of mediumship. Maybe she does. But anyways, she sees energy just like I do. So she's like, there's energy. And I'm like, I know, okay, I see it too. Because this was the first time her and I were meeting, because we're collaborating. And it's the first time meeting each other, and so like we're talking about the energy, and we're talking about, this place that we're staying that's super old. And so long story short, there's all this stuff around, and we go out and we come back, and we're eating some food in the kitchen, and all of a sudden she's like, I see energy behind you. And I turned around and I see this full apparition of a man, a very tall man. And he had stripes that were going this way, and he had a number on his shirt. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I see a guy. And my first thought is like soccer, because the jail, you would think the lines are vertical, but these lines were horizontal, specifically. And so I'm like, okay. And I keep seeing this guy around, and I keep seeing him, and I'm like in the shower and I see him, and I'm like, okay, you really need to go. And when I said, can you please go, the fountain outside turned on. It was the craziest shit. Like the door opened and the fountain turned on. I literally watched the full apparition spirit walk through the door, turn on the fountain, and that was it. So that was all I saw for him. I kept seeing a lady in white too. I feel like every place has a lady in white, so I don't know. I also looked up what the mask represent, and they're to scare you into going to church. So needless to say, I didn't sleep up there. I slept on the couch. So it was freaky, it was crazy, it was amazing, it was beautiful, it was all the things. So later on, we were talking to some locals, and the Airbnb that we were staying in was actually the prison. So there's that. So I did indeed see an inmate. So that was fun. It was just really beautiful. The energy was absolutely amazing. Um, look for me there with retreats because that's what's happening next. All right. So we want to talk about okay, also, I went jet skiing for my first time ever, and my face got completely sunburnt. My lips are sunburnt. My whole body is sunburnt, because that's what happens to me. And I was unprepared, because it was a spontaneous thing. So I learned some lessons there, with sunscreen and all that kind of good stuff. So there's that. All right. So we met amazing people in Puerto Rico. It's beautiful. If you haven't gone, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for spiritual things to do, Old San Juan is super historical. I think that anywhere you stay is going to have energy and have experiences, because it was all the time. The energy there is just so old and amazing. So there's that. The people there are awesome. It was just the most magical, fantastic time. So that's that. All right, so let's talk about blessings. The whole time I was in Puerto Rico, I kept seeing my numbers. And, we talk a lot about numbers, and it's so important to know what your numbers are, right? Your birth number, your life path number. Your birth number is the day that you're born on, and you break it down to one single number. Same thing with your life path. You're going to add up your whole entire birthday, break it down to one number, and that is your life path number. So when you understand what your signs and symbols are, what your numbers are. For instance, the first Airbnb that we went to in Puerto Rico, there was a car parked across the street, but the streets are like this big. So there was a car parked right directly across from the Airbnb that had the license plate JAH666, right? 666 is a very important number for me. It's a number that my mom sends me because if you look at the six, looks like a pregnant woman, right? It's also like a stigma number that my mom would pick because she was kind of a smartass, kind of like me. So she would pick a number to send to me that was like people thought was bad or the devil or whatever, and she would send that because that was her personality. So, anyways, the number is 666, right? So my license plate also is 666, right? And it came from the state, which actually came from my mom, right? So, okay, so we get to the Airbnb and I notice right away that the car across the road is whatever 666. And I pointed out, I'm like, there's 666. That's my mom, right? So the whole time I'm in Old San Juan, I'm seeing 66666 everywhere. So I know in my heart that I'm safe, that I'm in the right place, and see I'm being guided to where I need to be next, right? Because I take literal numbers as my guidance. I know that if I'm seeing my mom's number, I know if I'm seeing my number that I'm going in the right direction. And for me, it's always confirmation. So as I see more and more of the synchronicity, more and more of the same number over and over again, it's not anymore of a coincidence, right? Even though I don't believe in coincidence, I know that the more numbers that I see in synchronicity, I'm in the right place at the right time. So I'm seeing 6666 all the time. So then we go over to Isabella. And when we get to Isabella, there's a car that was parked in the driveway next to us. 666. And I was like, okay, so we're literally in the right place at the right time. And I'm like, cool. So when we get to Isabella, I notice there is a penny on the doorstep. Also, my mom likes to leave me money. I try to tell her like some gold would be good. Like, I'm sick of these pennies and dimes and shit. Like, let's go. I need some gold. Okay, but seriously, she leaves these signs and symbols, right? So we get to the Airbnb and there's a penny on the doorway. And I'm like, okay. So I see it. And Erin didn't see it. So I knew it was for me because I always want to think that maybe signs are symbols for other people as well. So she didn't see it. So I was like, okay, it's definitely for me. I know it's for me. So I go and I'm like, okay. So throughout the week, whatever, we're going in and out and the penny's still there. And so I'm like, okay, I get this. Like, it's cool. So then on the very last day, I'm like, I got to pick this penny up. I'm like, this penny was here when we got here. So I pick it up. And anytime you get a coin, right? Anytime you get a penny or a nickel or a dime or gold, whatever, right? Anytime you get a coin, you want to look at the date. and you want to break that date down to a single number. Because again, it's all in the signs and symbols. Numbers are super high vibration. So it's easy for spirit to send you numbers. So again, I look at the number and I'm like, okay, Erin, let's look at the date. What was the date? 2022. What does that equal? 246. It was my mom. And it was there the whole time. And I just kept seeing it, but I didn't pick it up to see what the date was, right? Because I also believe that your intuition will tell you when you need to pick it up. It was the last day. We were heading home. So it told me that I was going to be protected, but it also told me I knew I was going to have long delays. So I kind of knew going into Friday that it was going to be a really long day. And it really was. But that's okay. It's worth it every time. So, you have to look at the little things. And it's something like if you notice it, it's a sign. Like there's no question. You don't have to question your intuition. Like if you see something and you're like, I wonder if that's a sign. It is. Like it is. Yes, it is a sign. Like if you're like, I see a heart in the sky. Do you see a heart in the sky? It doesn't matter what anybody else sees. It matters what you see. And yes, if you think you see a heart in the sky, there's a heart in the sky. And you can associate that with any of your spirit guides that you indeed associate that with. So it's really just about recognizing the signs and symbols that are always around you because, like I said, you're always being guided. You're never alone. Of course, you're alone sometimes, but you're always being guided. And it's up to you to say, okay, this is a sign. This is a symbol. This is what it is. And to take that. Let's see. Hi, Jessica. How do you figure out what your number is? So what you can do is like your birth number, you take the day that you were born on, right? I was born on October 8th. So I take the 8 and that is my birth number. So if you're like the 21st, you add the 2 and the 1 together, right? And you break that down to 3. So if you're the 22nd, you break it down to 4. So you add them together, break it down to one number. If you're looking for your life path number, you take your whole entire birth date, maybe it's 7/10/2004, and you add that all together, break it down to one number, and that is your life path number. So my best friend just called me and she should be watching my live right now. So Jessica, I see you, girl. So anyways, that's how you figure out what your number is. You do have 27 numbers in your whole entire, you have 27 numbers in your numerology chart. You can get deep into that. Again, it places everything in a space and time. But I think that if you know what your birth number is and your life path number, I feel like those are the two numbers that you're going to see the most and the two numbers that are going to come across your radar the most. So, and if you know who your guides are, right? I know that my mom is my first guide. So I also know that she was born on the 18th. So I know that if I see 18 or 9, it's also my mom. I know that if I see owls, that's my mom. And if I see number 6, I know that's my mom. And I know it's kind of crazy to say, oh, all these numbers, it's so confusing. Like once you start to live your life really by the guidance of what you're getting, it doesn't seem so confusing. Like I think I did freshman math like 4 years in a row. But I can do numerology so good. It's adding the numbers that I'm like, whatever. But once you know what the number is, then you can start to see that. So you don't have to be good at math, right? You just have to know what your number is so that you can take your number and bring it on the outside, right? Okay, so I'm a number 8. I'm also going to more than not, I'm going to get along with people who have even numbers. I feel like sometimes when people have odd numbers, we tend to have not the same alignment of thought process, maybe. I know, like my dad, he's a 1, and I love him dearly, but I think sometimes he thinks that I'm a little wild and do things on a whim and I'm spontaneous, and maybe a number 1 doesn't want to be spontaneous. Maybe a number 1 wants to plan for things like that. So, but like a number 2 would be just as spontaneous as a number 8. And so it's the odd and even, right? So we tend to be more compatible with odds or evens depending on what your numbers are. So it's an easy way to, if you're single, maybe to date, or if you're not getting along with maybe your kid, like Jade, she's an odd number and I'm an even number. So I try really hard to do research on how I can come to a compromise between us, because raising a 16-year-old is not easy. But it's worth it, right? And I know it's because of our numerology, because our astrology signs are very much compatible as Libra and Leo. However, our numerology also kind of is like this. So once you know, you can also work on what those maybe weaknesses or strong points are in your relationship, so that you can come to a place of compromise and harmony too. So yeah, numbers are going to be everywhere, right? And I really love to, all my best friends right now are messaging me and they should be watching my live. Jambo, I'm calling you out too. So anyway, it's just really looking at everything. I've noticed also too that like when I find myself being like, oh, oh, I see that, or oh, that's weird, or that's different. I find myself saying that a lot of times every day. And those always turn out to be signs and symbols. So if you even feel like you forget a lot, or you see something and then you like forget until you have deja vu or deja rev, what happens is like, we should be carrying around little journals. I started carrying around a little journal because I feel like writing things down is easier for me to remember, and to go back and to say, oh, okay, this is what I was seeing and this is what it's correlating with. And maybe it's new signs and symbols, like, because every day we're learning and every day we're coming up with new signs and symbols, because again, you're also making your signs and symbols. So if you're like, okay, I'm seeing hearts in the cloud, and you know that it's, you feel in your heart that, it's Grandma June, then it's really Grandma June, right? You can come to me and I'll validate that for you. But really, it's you connecting with your spirit guides and saying, hey, I was seeing an owl all the time when my mom passed away, and I just didn't understand that that was a sign and symbol all the time. Like, I was seeing a white snowy owl every day, and then I was seeing barn owls, and then I was seeing all these different types of owls, and like those little owls in Florida. It was like just owls everywhere. And I started to be like, oh my God, I think that's my mom. And so I started associating the owl with my mom, and now it's stuck ever since then. And now I see owls all the time, like literally all the time I'm seeing owls. So it's something that you can also, if you're like, I don't really know, like if you know that you're connecting with your grandfather, you know that your grandfather really loved, I don't know, motorcycles, you can connect that eagle with the motorcycle with your grandfather. So every time you see an eagle, you're like, okay, that's my grandfather. And then you start talking to your grandfather more, and then you're going to start seeing the eagle more. It's just this really amazing cycle of signs and symbols, and everything is a sign and symbol. So the more that you can just kind of like allow it to go with the flow, and allow it to point you in directions where maybe sometimes you don't even want to go that way, but you're seeing your number left and you want to go right, but you're seeing your number left, most definitely go left, because maybe there's something that you're not seeing on this plane that your guides are seeing, and they're saying, no, it's go this way, it's going to be less pain, or it's going to be less of a lesson. But we as humans tend to be like, well, we'll take the lesson, we're going to go for the lesson, and then we're like, shit, we should have just followed our number the whole time. Like, so the more that you recognize your signs and symbols, the more that you recognize you're going against it, the more that you will start to go with it, and start to understand that when you go with your signs and symbols, you're going with the flow. And when you go with the flow, it's easy. When you're resisting, it's hard. So every time we resist things, we're really just prolonging our manifestations and prolonging what we're trying to do. I never see a 7 You never see 7? That's okay. Maybe that's not your number. Is that what day you were born on? But maybe you're not recognizing it in ways like it could come also as 7 ducks. It could come in the form of 7 deer. It could come in the form of your have $7 in your wallet. It could come in so many different forms because also spirit's funny. Like they like to joke. They like to see, oh, are you really paying attention or are you not? Like that. Let's see. Janice says 4 and 6s. And yeah, it's, numbers just are always, we're always seeing them. We're working with them every day. And the more that you can understand what you're seeing over and over again, the more that you can apply it to your life, right? Like I kept seeing 5s over and over again, right? And then I moved. So 5 is the number of change. So the more that you recognize, maybe you're seeing um, a cardinal every day. Maybe you're seeing a cardinal every day. And then you have to move and the mascot is a cardinal, right? It's so complex that it's like you have to really be vigilant of what you're seeing in patterns and what you're seeing over and over again, because those are where the messages are. It's, the little random things that you see, okay, grab it, pay attention to it because maybe it's showing you something in the future, right? But the things that you're seeing all the time over and over again, that's a pattern. That's a message, right? So think about what you're seeing over and over again and apply it to your life. Apply it to what are you thinking about? Are you asking questions? Are you manifesting something? Are you trying to get to over here or over here? It's really just about grabbing them. It's like they're going by, choo, 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 choo. It's like you got to grab it. You got to grab it. But the biggest part of these blessings and signs and symbols is that you have to believe it. And it's about believing it in your heart. And, I believed in my heart that my mom was there with me. And I believe that she gave me those signs and symbols. And when you believe in something and you believe so much in something greater, it just leads the way and it's easy. And it's like, it brings a sense of peace to say, you know what, I am in the right place at the right time. And sometimes we second guess it. And it's like, why are we second guessing it when really we are in the space and time that we need to be? Hi, Jenny. I was stuck in the bottom installing a new bathroom sink. Oh, girl, you're good. In the beginning, I was like, this is totally a random day, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's just about believing in your heart too, that you are being guided and that you are having these blessings go by your senses every single day. It's about grabbing them because if you're not believing it, you're not going to see them, right? So if you don't believe that you're being guided, then you're not going to see the guidance. So it's really at the end of the day about trust. And, trust starts within. And I think a lot of times we question our own trust because of our programming and our trauma. And the more that we can heal, the more that we can, trust ourselves and trust our decisions and be confident in our decisions, then we can start to see, the more signs and symbols, because I see way more signs and symbols right now than I did 5 years ago, than I did 3 years ago, than I did last year. So it's, as you heal and as you grow, the more clarity you see, the more that you start to realize, yeah, I can ask for green lights. I can ask for parking spots. I can ask for money. I can ask for, new sheets, whatever the hell you want. It's just about, believing in yourself and believing in your guides. And I don't, go one day without the belief that I'm being guided. I would never be where I am sitting right now without the guidance of my mom. I just wouldn't be. And when you start to realize that it's not just you, there's a whole team that's here for you, that's cheering you on, that is saying like, yeah, I'm going to send you these really hard lessons, but like, you're going to make it through it. And when you make it through it, you're going to gain that confidence. You're going to gain that trust to be able to see those blessings that are going by you every minute. So it's really just like this cycle of, you know, trust and belief and patience. And those are, I think, the three hardest things that we, as being in our human bodies, really work with. And it's, hi Jess. So it's about believing in yourself. And I know it's like sometimes it's like selfish to say, but we're here for us. We're here to learn lessons. We're here to be kind to others. We're here to um, understand that there's something much bigger out there. And so the more that you work on yourself and your healing, the more that you're doing for your family, for your friends, for the universe. So, people ask me all the time, how do I see my signs and symbols? How do I know what's for me? You know, and I think that a lot of times, if you're seeing hearts and you're seeing stars, or you're seeing, I don't know, ladybugs, whatever you're seeing over and over again, that is a sign for you. I know that I saw a bald eagle the other day. We were going to New York. I kept waking Jade up because there was like, I saw like 6 or 7 eagles on the way to New York. And so I was like, okay. So I, look up what the spiritual meaning is. And the spiritual meaning was freedom. And during the whole Lionsgate portal, I just was manifesting freedom. And to have 7 or whatever, that's my bad. I should have counted, but there were so many eagles. It was a confirmation to me that they're hearing me and they're understanding me, and that, it's a praise for doing the work and a praise for putting in the healing, because that's what we're here to do. We're literally here to heal, to apply it to our life, to give grace, to give thanks, and to teach other people about what we've been through, and that nobody's alone, and that, we're here to like ascend and be kind. And I think a lot of times that kindness just goes right out the fucking window. And so if you take anything away from me talking, I hope it's to just be kind. And, because holding a door for somebody goes a long way. Smiling at somebody goes a long way. You don't know. We're all going through shit. Everybody is going through something. And, just a little bit of kindness can go so far. And yeah, that's how I feel. And I feel like when you can see all, Tracy says, I was walking the dogs the other day and a bunch of hawks kept flying down the street, following me from tree to tree. Yeah. And it's like, hawks are super smart too. And I also see hawks, and hawks are very protective. Hawks are like, something big is probably going to happen, and something that you need support with is probably going to happen. And the hawks are telling you, you're not alone. Like, you're not alone at all. Hi, love. I'm so happy. Yay. All right. Let's see. What kind of, it's, yeah. And that's what I'm saying is like, if you can just be kind, right? Because it's contagious. The shit's contagious. So if you're out there and you hold the door for somebody, maybe somebody sees you hold the door and then they hold the door. It's like a subconscious thing that is contagious. And maybe you smile at somebody, that person's going to smile at somebody, and then that person's going to smile at somebody. And then you just made 4 people's day and you don't even know it, because you just smiled at somebody because you're just showing kindness from your heart. So it really does make a difference. And, you have to also remember, when you're out there and people are being unkind to you, it's literally just like everybody is going to talk to you in a direct reflection about how they feel about themselves. So if somebody is coming at you with not being kind, they're probably going through some shit in their life. And maybe they're not even meaning to project that onto you, but maybe you're an empath and maybe your light is really bright and maybe they feel comfortable projecting that onto you. So you just have to take a step back and remember, it's not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of them. How can I make this a better encounter for both you and the person? So really, kindness does really go a long way, I think. Let's see. And people do take advantage of kindness, but again, that's on them, not on you, right? And you have to have boundaries too. Like, boundaries are such a weird thing because they're super hard for us empaths. Like, boundaries like are so hard for me, and I'm working on them now. I'm really bad at them, but I'm working on it. And what's happening is that empath want to help everybody and they want to spread the love to everybody. And so it's hard for us to put boundaries up. But if you're being kind to somebody and you're giving more energy away, maybe to a friend, to a family member, to a partner, there's times where you have to put boundaries up so that you're not keep giving away, because that becomes draining, and then that becomes like an energy vampire, right? A sucker, right? So you have to put boundaries up, especially if you're an empath, right? Let's see. Janice says, I projected so much anger at one point on earth. I would say for the last 2 years, I've been trying to express kindness from my heart, smiling at people and saying good morning, and it works. It does. It helps. It makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. So it's like a win-win situation. I don't know why you would want a win-win. But yeah, I think there is a lack of kindness. And I think that when we can show kindness in simple ways, it goes a long way. So um, just try. Like, and sometimes it's really hard. And sometimes I like want to say things to people that cut me off in the car or whatever. But then I just remember it's probably, maybe they're having a bad day. I also look at their license plate and add the numbers, because that will also tell me a number 5 will cut you off all day long. A number 1 will cut you off all day long. A number 4 is going to drive the speed limit. So, you can usually tell what number it is by the license plate, because even if you go and add up your license plate and you know your number, you can see that your license plate will represent your number, because even though my license plate says 666, if you add up the whole thing, it equals 8. So I'm willing to take chances. So I'm a crazy driver, but a good one. Yeah. So let's see. I'm such a bubbly and cheerful person. Maybe it's too much for people. No, what happens is that same, right? When you have a really bright light, sometimes it just annoys people. And I love that, because I don't care. My light is bright and your light is bright, and that's fine. It's going to annoy people, because sometimes the truth hurts. And a lot of people want to have sugar coated bullshit. And guess what? We are in the time of no sugar coated bullshit. So if they have a problem with your light, it's also a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves. And maybe they need to work on shadow work, which is why they're not able to reciprocate that light. Because we all need to work on shadow work. We're all learning. We're all here to learn. Because if you knew everything and you learned everything, you wouldn't be in your physical body. You would be in your pureness. So it's bullshit for people that think that they know everything, because that's not the case, because they wouldn't be here on earth. So you have to just remember that. Let's see. You will find other bright people. That's right. Exactly. And yeah, I speak loud too. It's fine. But Janice is right. When you start really spreading that kindness and spreading that love, and recognizing the signs and symbols and working on your healing, you will raise your vibration. And the laws of attraction say that if you're vibing up here, you're going to attract people up here, right? If you're vibing down here, you're going to attract people down here. And that's kind of like what you're seeing with the split in consciousness right now, is that you're going to see this really low vibration of, uh, war and hate and division and arrogance. And then you're going to start to see an ascension of people that are following signs and symbols, that are working on healing, that are spreading love, that are spreading wisdom and light in, more ways than one. Because there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways to spread love and light. And a simple smile at somebody is a great way to spread love and light. Yeah, we are all one. That's right. And, the more that we can work on ourselves and work on healing, you'll find yourself smiling at people subconsciously. You'll just find yourself being in a good mood all the time, when you realize there's really nothing to worry about, because the universe has your back. But it's that trust, it's that programming, it's that fear that we hold on to of the unknown, because we've been programmed to fear the unknown, right? But really the unknown is where the grass is greener. And I mean, in a subconscious way, in a spiritual way, in a religious way, whatever you want to go by, right? I'm not religious by any means, but I would never knock anybody for their belief in whatever the higher thing is. So I just think it's important to believe in something. Because we are, like I said, not here alone. And no matter what you believe in, you're always going to get signs and symbols from what you believe in. So as long as you just keep believing, you're going to get signs and symbols and apply those signs and symbols to your life. If you're looking for change and you're presented with the opportunity to change, take the opportunity to change. Don't pass it up because you're scared, because the universe is listening and they're providing you with an opportunity. It's when we give up those opportunities based on fear. Oh, I don't want to change job because I'm afraid, or I don't know where this job came from, but you had been manifesting a new job. You need to take the opportunities that the universe presents to you to be able to grow, to be able to evolve. Because again, we're not alone, and it's not just about you or I, it's about the whole, the whole as one. And the more that you work on yourself, the more that you're helping the universe as a whole. So yeah, this was good tonight. I feel really good about it. Let's see. Mike says, hi, and he's sorry stuck in the middle of a serious remodeling situation. But don't worry about it, Mike. You can watch the rerun. So, but yeah, seriously, I got beat up on those jet skis, so my body hurts, my mouth hurts, because I did get some burnt on my lips and they hurt. So I'm gonna cut it short tonight, but I love you guys so much, and just really keep looking for your signs and symbols, because they will present themselves to you all day, every day. It's just up to you to recognize what your signs and symbols are and to grab them, apply them to your life, to give thanks, and then you can get on to the next thing. Awesome. Take chances. Go on vacation. Do the crazy shit. Go to the graveyard at night and do some stuff. I don't know. Just do it. Live your life. Just know that we're not here for a long time. And I think a lot of times we hold ourselves back and, don't give ourselves opportunity to take the chance. And I think, if you can take the chance, oh, I love you, girl. Take the chance. Take the vacation. Go on the road trip. Hang out with people you don't know. Like, do things. Like, do it, because we're here for such a short time. And, it's not about anybody else but you. So I love you guys. And I'll see you on Friday. I'll be at the Gifford Hot Air Balloon. So we'll be doing live from the Gifford Hot Air Balloon Laser Show. It's always a good time. If you're in Connecticut or the surrounding states, you can get tickets online at Gifford Balloon Glow and Laser.com. I will also post a link on my Facebook page, but that's an awesome show all the time. So come on out and support your local vendors. I'll have my tea and my beautiful face. Just kidding. And I'll be doing readings. So I'll see you guys this weekend in Connecticut. Have a good day. I love you guys.